Ever feel like you want to make your English sentences just stronger and make your opinions sound way clearer? Well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to power up your grammar today, unlocking 2 simple techniques that will instantly make you sound more fluent. Let's jump right in.
So let's start with a little puzzle. How can an action, a verb like run or sing, become the main subject, the absolute star of your sentence? It sounds kind of weird, right? But trust me, figuring this out is one of the coolest tricks in English.
And the answer to that puzzle is our first topic, verbs in disguise. Yep, we're about to meet a special kind of word that looks just like a verb, but it's secretly working a second job as a noun.
Okay, here it is, your first power up. The formula is super simple. You just take any verb, add ing to the end, and poof, you've got a gerund. So walk becomes walking, clean becomes cleaning. See? Easy.
The best way to think about it is like this. A gerund is an action that you can talk about as if it were a solid thing, like an object or an idea. It's basically a verb wearing a noun's costume, which lets it sneak into parts of a sentence where verbs normally aren't allowed.
So, what do we do with this new thing? Well, this is where it gets really powerful. By sticking this ing word right at the beginning of a sentence, we can make the action itself the hero of the whole story.
And here's the official rule, which is actually really straightforward. A gerund, or even a whole phrase built around it, can be the subject of a sentence. This is the key. It lets you take an action, like swimming, and talk about it directly. So instead of, I like to swim, you can say, swimming is my favorite sport. So much stronger.
Check out this awesome example. Watching sports isn't nearly as fun as playing them. You see what's happening here? The subject is watching sports. The sentence isn't about me watching or you watching. The action of watching itself is the main idea. It's a fantastic way to make a really strong general point. And just 2 quick but super important rules to keep in your back pocket. First, if you want to make it negative, just put the word not right before it. Like, not exercising is a bad idea. And second, a gerund subject always uses a singular verb. So you'd say, getting in shape takes time, not take time. Simple as that.
All right, you ready for power up number 2? Now that we know how to turn actions into subjects, let's look at an amazing way to talk about our experiences. I call this the ultimate opinion combo because it's how you express those big, unforgettable ideas with total confidence.
So, what's the secret? It's all about combining 2 grammar tools. First, you grab a superlative adjective. Words like best, worst, or most incredible. Then you pair that with the present perfect tense. That's when you say things like, I have seen, or you've ever done. The rule is that present perfect part comes right after the superlative. Let's break that down so you can see it clearly. You start with your big superlative, something like the most exciting. Then you follow it up with a little clause in the present perfect, like sporting event you've ever seen. See how they just click together? It's the perfect structure for describing the absolute peak of an experience. And here it is out in the wild. This question is just a perfect example. Who was the best football player you've ever seen? It sounds so powerful and completely natural, right? It just rolls off the tongue.
Okay, theory is over. You've got the techniques down. Now it's time to put them to the test and make sure those new skills really stick. Let's do a quick grammar workout. You ready?
All right, here's the first one. How would you fill in the blank here using the verb make?
If you said making, you are absolutely right. Making pizza is very easy. The action is the subject. Awesome start.
Let's try another. What's the right form of live to kick off this sentence about Dubai? Yep, it's living. Living in Dubai is expensive but fun. See, you're totally getting the hang of this.
And one last one for our workout. How do you change the verb exercise so it can be the subject here?
But of course, it's exercising. Exercising is fun. Fantastic job. You are now a pro at turning actions into subjects.
So let's do a quick victory lap and recap the 2 English superpowers that you've just unlocked.
So here's what you walk away with today. First, you now know how to make any action the star of your sentence. Just add ing. And second, you've got the ultimate combo for sharing big experiences. Pair a superlative, like the best, with the present perfect, like I've ever seen. These are 2 seriously useful tools for your English toolkit. And to leave you with something to think about, I'm going to use our new power-up on you. So what's the best advice you've ever received? Give it some thought, and maybe try to answer using these new skills. Thanks for joining me.